we now see it with the defund the police people. I was watching an interview last night with the chief of police in Detroit, and he was talking about how the only people that want to defund the police are white people who live in suburbia. He said people who live in crime-ridden parts of cities do not want to defund the police, even if they may say they do. So an interesting, Portland has just been under anarchy and all this. And, of course, we have the council person there, Joanne Hardesty. Now, Joanne Hardesty has been very outspoken that she wants to defund the police. And she's been all about defunding the police and all this. And, the police are this and the police are that until she needed them. And you would think, oh, well, you're going to give us some example of her being in a really, really dire situation. Well, we have a story for you. I want you to now remember, she demanded that $18 million of the police budget be cut and says that most 911 calls are unnecessary.
Frivolous.
She went that far.
She went that far?
Yeah. This was her speech about cutting the
And then
money.
immediately makes a frivolous 911 call.
Yeah, so here's the story about what happened.
Frivolous.
Check it out.
Frivolous.
911, what's your emergency?
Well, I got a Lyft driver that decided he would just drop me off at a filling station and he wants me to get out, and I'm not getting out of the car in the dark at a filling station. Not happening. All because I asked him to put the window up, but I'm not leaving. He says I have to get out of his car, or he's calling the police, so I decided to call for him.
Okay. I mean, technically it's his property and you have a civil agreement. There's no crimes involved.
Well, he said he was calling the cops. I told him he's not going to leave me on the
It's not a crime to call the cops.
Well,
I mean, I could have the officer. What was that?
I said I am not going to allow him to leave me on the side of the road. I paid for a ride, and he canceled it. He says he canceled it. So I'm just going to sit here until he sends me another ride.
I can't send you a ride. You have to.
Only you can order another ride.
This is not a police issue that I will hang up, but I'm not getting out of this car in the dark.
So you see what's happening. The woman who says people abuse 911, they don't need $18 million, and I'm for defunding the police, calls the police via 911 about a disagreement between her and her Lyft driver.
Over the window being up or down. Over the window that he would not put up.
Well, I mean, I understand.
This is a case where you go to where you're going and you give him a bad review. That's what happens with this. That's how these are handled. But it just goes to show you the hypocrisy of what they're doing. And, Rick, I don't know if you saw in Minneapolis, they've moved and they've cut a bunch of police officers and they've had a bunch retire and quit and all of this, part of the defund effort. And most of the liberals there said they didn't go far enough. They wanted to totally do away with the police. Well, guess what? They've come back now and they're asking for money to hire out-of-town police officers to come in to fill shifts.
No, you're right. No, I'm telling you.
That's in the news today.
Yeah.
It's in the news today.
So the defund the police thing, which is possibly the dumbest idea in America since I've been alive.
Yeah, I think so.
Is the people who even say they want this, when it comes to their lives and the way they live, which how many times have we said this applies to Rick, applies to everybody in the room, applies to every one of you. What you actually do is what you actually believe. So if I believe that the police should be defunded and I want $18 million out of their budget, because really we got too much money going to police because they're not all that necessary. They're not near as necessary as everybody makes it out to be because most of the 911 calls are unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then she makes an unnecessary 911 call wanting the police.
Yeah. That's how it works, though, Rick.
So what does she really believe?
Rick and Bubba, Rick and